Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Radnarok. It's been a while since we've been here. For those that are watching either via VOD or in the Twitch chat, I think most of the only players are in here at the moment, but in case there is someone in here that's not in the campaign, been a few minutes since we've been here, been a few hot seconds. We are at a new arc in the campaign, believe it or not. And we've unfortunately lost a few players due to scheduling issues and just life changes. So we will not be having
assassination.
That was a while ago. That happened before even the last session
Allegedly.
started. So Parthenax and Rad will not be with the group, at least for now. Rad may make a return. Parthenax, we are not sure about. That may be a more permanent exit. We will have a narrative explanation of that coming in this session. We are also kind of retconning a couple of pieces of information in the campaign to help kind of reorient the group that has remained. And we'll do a little bit of recap as well. Yes. So before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. As per the retcon, for those that may remember all the way back session 1, when the mysterious stranger basically told the entire party that was there at the time of the Rad Shard and trying to convince people to go find the Rad Shard. The story with that now is this mysterious stranger came to Valpor, and Julian, being kind of the resident security of the town, noticed this mysterious fellow who was not part of the normal flow of people that came through Valpor that he was familiar with. So he approached this mysterious person at the inn, and they started talking about the Rad Shard, and also there at the time was Xylith and Wilric, and they had also kind of eavesdropped in on the conversation of the Rad Shard. After the discussion between Julian and the mysterious stranger, Julian noticed Wilric and Xylith were eavesdropping in on the conversation as well and approached them collectively about it. And they started discussing about what this was, each one kind of giving their own vague reasonings for looking for the Rad Shard. Xylith having a certain motivation, and Rorick having a certain motivation, which we'll get to in a minute. And Julian also having some of his backstory, and also with the interest of Xylith and Wilric. They set out with the group, and we'll kind of play the other pieces as far as Melog, Helenistra, Radzeus, Parthenax. It'll just kind of be magic fluff for the most part. So consider this arc as a soft reboot for the campaign. Most of the story and narrative that happened before is still going to be influencing the rest of the campaign, but by and large, the origin of where the Rad Shard came into play has kind of changed and been retooled. Other than that, everything else is going to be kind of maintained as much as possible. So with that said, let's remind folks of who is actually playing in our campaign. So we'll kind of go in story order with this. So Jack, you want to tell the viewers at home a little bit about Julian?
So, Julian was very much in the war. Became just normal birth, nothing special about Julian, but slowly rose up the ranks and eventually became a captain in the military. Fought loads of battles, very much grizzled war veteran. And then in one fight, he was inside, I think it was a castle, wasn't it, Dust, that we went to storm a castle? I believe
it was a fortress.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. Went to storm a fortress, and things went bad, and I was betrayed by someone I thought was my friend. And so now Julian has lost the use of his voice box. Well, not completely, but
little raspy.
basically had a spear shoved into his throat, and now has pretty much a voice which is very gravelly. Let's just say that much. And as a result, is very slow to trust people. Does not trust anyone at all, and is a very grumpy and temperamental person. I'm also being told quite clearly several times that as a paladin, I do not resemble that of a paladin. So I'm a very much in your face kind of weird paladin.
Well, we'll just chalk it up to you being a wolf kind and your paladinness being a little bit different than normal.
Yeah. I'm a wolf kind as well. I forgot about that. Yes.
We'll chalk it up to being a little bit different than other normal.
Yes.
I'm streaming.
Well, yeah. So yes, I am also a wolf kind. We will go into details about who exactly betrayed me, but his name was Cyrus, and I'm looking for Cyrus. But the reasoning behind looking for Cyrus is unknown.
At this point, yes. For those of you who are interested, there's a previous VOD where we kind of explored a little bit of that instant of Julian's backstory.
Yes, indeed.
Left a little bit of a cliffhanger in there as well, due to some unfortunate rules. But yeah. So next up on the list is Wilrick. So Panda, you want to talk a little bit about your character, Wilrick?
Yeah, so I'm Wilrick. Wilrick, to the people in the campaign so far, is a very peculiar character. He has a very odd fixation on dairy products like cheese. Don't know why. He acts to most people very foolish, childlike to most. He's very forgetful and overly friendly to everyone who he meets. Currently, he is one of those characters that is very hit and miss with his memory, and it's practically just a funny character overall, to what we know.
All right. And we have Xylith. April, you want to talk about who Xylith is?
Yeah, so Xylith's character is a black dragonborn. He used to live amongst a whole family of black dragonborns, but he was, or so he thinks, he was abandoned. His family, he woke up one day and he was just left to fend for himself, which caused him to become a rogue. So Xylith is a dragonborn rogue. He had to fend for himself from when he was young. He didn't want to take that path in life, but it's kind of the path that was thrust upon him. And he's going on this adventure to kind of find himself and see if he can find some sort of way to find out what has happened to his family. He's a very soft-spoken kind of person. He's not aggressive. He's not evil or anything like that. He just had a string of bad luck in his life, which caused him to be the way that he is. And he's hoping to get some sense of finding himself through this adventure. So that is Xylith.
Very good. Next up, we have Nymphis. So, Geo, could you tell us about Nymphis Stormweather, please?
Nymphis is a very charismatic character. Grew up with a silver spoon type of only knowing that knowing of the past of his mother's adventures through her writing, but never actually been on one himself. He took flight to actually, his mom gave him a job of, promoting more of her stories, and then this was an opportunity for him to explore the world a little bit and go on his own little adventure. Nymphis is a male air genasi warlock. He has a little bit more mysterious aspects to himself that he's learning as he's growing. He also found a little picture of what looked to be his father, which he never grew up with his actual father. So he's kind of slightly on the hunt for that and trying to get as much answers as possible. Stumbled upon this crew who are searching for a rad shard and decided to, tag along and take notes, thinking these guys are the heroes that he wants to write about and make his own story. He is having a lot of fun learning about this crew as he's going, and twists and turns and all this fun adventure. Let's continue to finding out what Olympus turns out to be in the end.
Bless you.
Bless
Bless
you.
Thank you.
All right. And then finally, or semi-finally, we have Belto as the latest recruit to the group. So, Bobby, could you tell us about Belto, please?
Recruit's a word. Yes, Belto is a crystal dragonborn cleric. From what he has unveiled to the group so far, he has had a recent tragedy in his life. And he was basically, through circumstances, thrust upon the chaotic situation that was this party back in Hinkdale, and has been observing the group while escorting / traveling with them back to Elfrost. He's got a lot on his mind, and as he's mostly been watching so far.
All right. And then just to kind of touch a little bit on some of the narrative that's going on here, we have Ace in here as Asmodeus. You want to give a quick recap on some of the influences that Asmodeus has had in the group so far?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't influenced anyone.
Uh-huh.
Everyone is operating on their own free will to decide whatever they want.
Uh-huh. Is that how you're going to leave it, really?
I don't know what you're talking about. I am but a humble cat
Apparently.
with a nice tie.
So I will fill in a few of the gaps since Ace is refusing to.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So
Hold on. If you're gonna deceive the audience, you need to roll a deception check.
I'm not deceiving, though.
Clearly, you're deceiving.
I'm not
I have
deceiving.
no idea what this man's about to tell you.
You roll for deception.
Total lie. I don't need to. I am deception.
Just roll deception anyways, and we'll see how much I divulge.
I'm not even
We'll
logged
play
in,
that.
so
I was just saying, that's what he'd be used in. That's terrifying.
Go ahead. Yeah, let me look at my stat block.
Such a
Let's see
power
what my
move.
let me see what the bonuses are real quick.
We'll just
Yes,
say
plus 30.
We'll
Yeah,
just,
as I say, I don't know. Do you really want to play against plus 30 deception? We can go.
we'll just say for
I roll
what
a
people
2.
need
What
to
do you
know.
got?
You rolled a 2?
Yes, plus 30, so it's 32.
Plus
What do
30?
you got?
Well,
Gee, the DM, he rolled his D100. God, how can I beat that? Get out of here.
well, I rolled an 8. And I was going to add 10 to it, being the DM.
Also not helping.
Yeah. So I'll keep it brief then. Asmodeus is basically speaking to Ulrich. In the past, there have been instances where he has made himself known to Ulrich, and he has talked with Ulrich in his desires, and has also gifted him a few different pieces of equipment that he can use to his
Technically,
benefit.
just the one.
Well,
I've given him 2 things, but only one of them's a piece of equipment.
well, yes. I'm not just talking only equipment, but yes, he's given him.
I just wanted to see Willrich's look on his face because he's completely like, oh God, what did he give me?
All right. So that's where the characters are. Now, to recap quickly on the story. So our party departed from Valpor, being a total party of 7 to start. Throughout their time going from Valpor to Elfrost, they have come across a number of different towns and homesteads, and there's a couple key moments in there. They helped a father rescue his kid, and they found a stash of gold and jewels that was that helped kind of buff up the party's inventory of money a little bit. There was the incident at Hinkdale, which one session turned into 4 sessions, and we got a lot of story development there. The group was able to go through and help rescue the city from a orc attack that was happening. They found some unfortunate casualties of the attack, and they were able to help the mayor and some of the other townsfolks identify and kind of put to rest the town after they had gone through this horrible incident. This is where Belto also came into the picture, and the whole unification of the group going to Elfrost and the reason why the party is going there kind of came to a head. While Wilric, Xylith, and Julian were informed of what the Rat Shard was and had their own motivations for pursuing it from Valpor. Nifis came in as a character, as you explained, looking to look for his own adventure, and seeing this group and what they were going for. He had heard of the Rat Shard kind of as rumors, so he's like, oh, this sounds interesting. I'll tag along with these folks. And then Belto, having been actually sent to Hinkdale by the council at Elfrost to help out because they had received word of the attack going on, came in after the party had actually taken care of the attack, and he had met with the mayor to kind of get the rundown of what happened. And then the party came together and started making their way to Elfrost. They also came upon a dwarven wizard's hut. This was Hisrin, and Hisrin gave the characters a lot of insightful revelations to some dream interpretations from dreams that they had on their way up to Elfrost. Some revelations into maybe what the Rat Shard could be, some tales. She shared some adventures that she had with the Stormweather adventuring crew that she was a part of, which caught Nymphis' ear a little bit. Also gave an opportunity for Julian to explore his backstory and to help him look for what he's searching for. There was a series of purple worm attacks on the outskirts of the village where Helenestra was from. She had since departed the party before they got to Elfrost to help deal with whatever oddities are happening around the village. Where the village was foregone her exile to actually help address whatever these increase in abnormalities is happening in the area. As the party approached the gates of Elfrost, they were told to halt, and given that the party was kind of mixed and unexpected, they opened fire a little bit, startling the horses. Everything kind of erupted before Belto had thrown out that they were being expected, and to ask Eilenia about what the party's reception was supposed to be. After getting some confirmation, the party was led in, but not before Wilric was bound and basically rolled, and his intelligence is now 1. So he has this just numbness in his head, and externally he's screaming, but inside it's like completely blank, and everyone else is now being escorted into the gates of Elfrost. So with that, we pick up our adventure. As you all are being escorted in, you see these elegant designs of elven craftsmanship, buildings. Think of Rivendell from Lord of the Rings style, that kind of pretty elven architecture. There are several different pathways and gates that kind of outline. It looks like they kind of go to different areas of whatever this kingdom, fortress, whatever this thing might be. You can't really tell. Looks like there's kind of layers of this city or this kingdom, whatever it might be. Judging from the outside, you don't really get a good sense of how big it is, and it almost seems like there's this aura or manifestation that is kind of tricking the mind a little bit as you're making your way through certain parts, and you look at certain parts of Elfrost and they look a certain way, and then 5 minutes later they look very different, or sizes of buildings or placements of different things look like it's shifting and changing. I would like everyone to go ahead and just roll perception checks for me, please.
Ooh, let's go. Perception with advantage.
Would you want me to do it as well, or leave me out?
Everyone roll a perception. Yeah, everyone roll a perception. Okay, so Nephis, Belto, and Julian, you all get the sense that based on some previous knowledge of elven culture and the Feywild a little bit, you get the sense that where Elfrost is probably on the edge of the Feywild, or there's some kind of bridge between the Feywild and this plane that might be what's causing some of this visual apparition to happen. There's a lot of things that seem to be kind of warping in certain ways, and you kind of chalk this up to being there's probably some presence of Feywild in Elfrost, whether it encapsulates Elfrost or if it's just certain pieces kind of bleeding in and affecting things randomly. You don't know, but that's kind of the sense that you get. As you all are being led through the kind of the outskirts are more like homestead type places. You have some of the kind of like outlying little villages of this larger kingdom. You see people's heads turning to you, and they're not used to seeing outsiders or people that aren't expected. And the normal clientele that come through here, you kind of get the sense that for the most part, people aren't used to seeing this kind of group of people. And they're especially drawing attention to you because Wilrick is screaming his head off right now. So,
are they all elven, or are they a different mix of different people?
As you're going through, from everyone that you've seen so far, everyone's elven. You haven't seen anyone that's not elven.
I was wondering if there was like anyone of any different species who wasn't.
From what you've seen so far, it's only elven in here.
Okay.
I need everyone to go ahead and roll another check. This one's going to be need everyone to roll a wisdom check at disadvantage.
Not wisdom saving, just wisdom.
Wisdom saving.
Wisdom
Sorry,
saving.
it should be saving, not a check. It should be saving. Yep.
Advantage. Okay. Okay, that needs to be on the same page. Sorry, 1 second. I moved it over. There we go.
Wilrick, you don't need to worry about rolling because right now you're pretty much incapacitated.
But initially got a 21.
There we go. There's a save.
Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, let's go. 21 and 20.
All right. All right. So everyone notices as you're going through this, going through certain parts of the route kind of towards a little bit more of the center part of Elfrost. There are these archways and almost gates, it looks like. Julian and Nymphis, you realize that there's some kind of special effect that these things seem to exude almost. As you go through these gates, it's almost like there's a like a calming effect that's trying to come in and force its way into you. For Xylith and Belto, you do kind of get that calming effect on you, and you feel a little bit more complacent. Where you were kind of more worried about, okay, where are we going? What's going to happen to us? You're now just kind of going with the flow of things. Julian and Nymphis, this effect, whatever it is, you kind of brush it off and you continue following the guards with where you're going. After about 10-15 minutes, you all are taken to a kind of like a dispatch place, almost like a guardhouse, more or less on this. So when you came to Elfrost initially, there was kind of this gate and an outer fence line, more or less, that maybe had marked the outline of the entire kingdom. Now you're up against this wall that seems to be, okay, this is more like maybe the inner part of the city. So where a lot of the living is kind of out in this open field area, you're now starting to get to maybe what's considered the capital or the inner part of Elfrost. You see Wilric get pulled away. You assume that with him being restrained and everything going on, that there's probably going to be some additional interrogation or investigation of him before he's returned to you.
Wait, don't hurt him. He's a friend.
Are you saying that in character or? Okay.
Yes. Nymphis will stop them. Like, wait, don't hurt him. Okay, he's our friend. Make sure he's okay.
One of the guards
please.
that's there escorting him is like, we will take good care of him. Don't worry. This is standard precautionary procedures. Don't worry.
You can't help what he is.
And again, quick question: are they speaking Elvish or are they speaking
common?
English?
They're speaking common right now. Yep.
Common. Cool.
Cool. And then shortly after Wilric is escorted, everyone else is escorted out as well, one by one. So let me just everyone roll initiative for me real quick, please. Right.
That's about right. At least it's the one time you don't need it.
just straight initiative.
Yes.
Just straight initiative.
I'll take it.
All right. So you see, one of the additional guards in this kind of guardhouse area take away Rad first, and is just kind of escorting him, and Rad follows. And then a minute later, another guards person comes in and starts to take you, Julian, and start to escort you away.
I'll turn to Silas. I was like, why are they splitting us up? What's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Xylith, with the effect that you're under, you're kind of like, oh, just kind of see what happens. I think that might be a good thing.
Are you okay, Xylith? I've never seen you so relaxed before.
I feel so good right now.
Okay. Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all.
Another guard comes in, takes Belto, and starts escorting Belto.
Belto, no! Oh God!
I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
Bye, Belto.
And then Xylith is taken next, is escorted out to another away from the group. After that is Belto. Belto, actually, a different person comes to get Belto. It's not a guard. It looks like some.
Let's just say
other...
you literally just said that you just took me.
Yeah.
Oh, I
think you meant to say
sorry.
Someone else that
Yes.
isn't here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Actually, next in the initiative would have been Nymphis. So
Yeah, because
Nymphis,
I was
someone
confused.
Nope, you're right. So Nymphis, someone comes to take you and start to escort you. Do you allow this to happen?
Yes, but I will also have my familiar with me on my shoulder. But as we're going, it's going to fly off a little bit and just like perch somewhere high above and watch over.
Okay. And then Belto, not a guard type, but a little bit more kind of royal robe type thing, like maybe a subsidiary to the council or something like that, comes to grab you from the rest of the group, and then that leaves Parthenax, and Parthenax gets escorted. Everyone except Belto, Nymphis, and Julian are considered charmed right now. Just keep a note of that. As everyone
No charming in this bitch.
as everyone gets escorted, you all are being led behind kind of entrenched walls. Like there's probably some structures inside the wall that you guys were brought into this guard shack. For those that are charmed, you kind of don't really know what's going on. You're just kind of following where these guards are leading you. As far as Julian and Nymphis, you all are escorted to it's maybe nicer than a cell. It's kind of like a room. It does have a nice view over Elfrost. You can kind of look outside to the lowlands of Elfrost, and there's nice accommodations and everything. But you're basically under house arrest, more or less, kind of the sense that you get of what's happened to you so far.
At least with the view, it's the penthouse arrest.
How is the room? How is the room?
Oh, it's spacey. It has a nice kind of white and brown kind of oak finish to it. There's it's a not carpeted ground, but it's kind of like wood slatted ground. There's some there's some rugs in there. There's a nice bed and chair, and there's amenities, and you assume that if you needed something that they would come bring it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not, you don't get the jail cell feeling, but you gain the feeling that you're being put in a place to be kept for some time. You don't know why at the moment. Belto, this person that comes to you introduces himself and says, Eilenia has sent me to get you. She heard that you had returned to Elfrost and is awaiting your report back to the council of the events that partook in Hinkdale. When is the earliest that you can brief the council on your findings?
As soon as they are ready. I shall go at any time of their convenience.
They are ready for you now.
Very well, let's go.
You're ready. Okay. So Belto, you are escorted to... Must just stopped working. Come on. Oh, battery's dying. That's why. So you are escorted to a chamber that's a little bit different than the one that you were introduced to before. This is probably like a sub chamber to the main chamber, or some other meeting place. Given the fact that you actually didn't travel that long before getting there, you get the sense that it's actually not part of the main council chamber area, not part of the inner district of Elfrost. When you get there, you actually meet up with one of the elders who actually wasn't there the last time you had met.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you know, this elder is part of the council, maybe not part of the council, but he has asked to get a debrief from you. And he introduces himself as, where is it? I wrote it down. Nasire Evren.
Could you please give me the spelling for that?
Yes, I will give it to you.
Put it perhaps in the Snapchat for copying into notes.
Yes, I will do
Thank
that.
you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yep. And as you approach him, he is wearing kind of mostly white garb with orange accents, some kind of like feathery attachments on him with different pieces adorning both his garment and headpiece as well. He introduced himself as like, you must be Belto. We didn't get a chance to meet when you were here last time, and I hear you are back with a report from Hinkdale that the council is very interested to hear about. I was hoping
That's
to get a preliminary debrief from you before the council was informed of the rest of your adventure before we get them involved.
Very well. Well, as you may have already been informed, I was sent to Hinkdale via one of somebody's talents up here, via transporting with the trees somehow. And upon arrival, the situation had already been resolved. There were some casualties, as unfortunately, and I did a bit of investigation, checked in with the mayor. There were 2 confirmed casualties regarding those in Heatdale, one of which was the person I was requested to gather information from, unfortunately. So I have done what I could to gather what information I could regarding the situation.
I see. Well, enough about the unfortunate circumstance. I wish them well, but more pressing matters are needed answers to. What is this group that you brought back with you? As far as I was made aware by the council before you left, you were out alone, and you bring these mysterious guests to our doors.
Indeed, it seems that fate has some strange irony to have landed me in the behest of a bunch that also have inklings in terms of knowledge regarding the Rad Shard, as the council has detailed a little bit of info to me regarding the importance of it.
Yes, this Rad Shard is something that worries me. So these people that you've have brought in, possibly even acquainted with, what do they know of the Rad Shard? Do they have much knowledge of it? Are they being led by some motivation to pursue this supposed legendary relic?
I did not get much information out of them directly. I mostly learned about their knowledge through them just inquiring with, what was her name? Hisrin, out on the path. A dwarven mage of some sort. They said the Rad Shard openly when inquiring. So that was the first I learned of the party, even knowing the existence of the Rad Shard. As for how deep their knowledge is, I do not know those details, unfortunately. I did not pry too much, as I was told to keep it relatively secret. I believe they are aware that I know of the existence of the Rad Shard as well. I just didn't divulge too much in regards to how little I do know.
I see. Well, that will be all for now. I'm sure the council will look forward to your full report. We've got lots to figure out. This party being here at Elfrost has caused quite a stir amongst some of the council, some of which I'm sure they will be most eager to hear from you directly. I will inform the council at once to get a meeting with you as soon as possible. Thank you for your time.
Of course, I shall be on standby.
So he takes a bow and heads out, and the person that was escorting you is like, well, until you wait, would you mind sitting in one of our waiting rooms? I'm sure he will get the council ready probably in about an hour or so. The council does not have any other pressing matters, so I'm sure they will want to hear from you as soon as possible.
However, we must proceed. I shall comply.
So he walks you towards the inner part of the city. Takes you about 15 minutes to walk there. For the rest of you, some time goes by. Wilrick, you are still kind of in this mindset with kind of just empty thoughts. You're not able to think or anything. On the inside, it's almost like you're in this void of nothing, and whenever you're trying to think of where you are, you just don't get a sense of anything going on. I need you to go ahead and roll a Constitution check. Just Wilrick.
All of us?
Oh.
Oh, just Wilrick.
All right. As Modius, you have an opportunity to break in during his kind of limited intelligence, not being able to filter anything in his tripped out state versus his natural state with you. So if you want to break in to say anything now, you are able to. This Constitution roll.
Hello, my child. Can you hear me? Don't say anything. They are watching you. If they think somebody else has made contact with you, they will get suspicious. Nod your head if you can understand me. Jesus Christ. Oh, God, what have I inherited? Anyway. Do not worry. Magic that is protecting you. My guidance, my will, so to be it. These simple fools cannot detect it. Just be yourself. You know, the foolish one. The cheese one. You may have to eat cheese. I know that's gonna suck. But you have to keep up the illusion. As soon as you get out of this accursed vain structure to the heavens, I will contact you once again with information. Do not worry. These elves, these oh so mighty, puny little elves with their racist speech, they are going to help you help me, and we're going to let them. So, answer their questions, be yourself, eat the cheese, and don't worry. If things go down, let's just say this knife that I keep around is not stained red for decoration. I will be leaving you for a moment. Do not panic. I know the transition back to your other self can be jarring, trapped in your own mind, but I promise we'll get you taken care of. Also, seriously, eat the cheese. It's really good. I hate these people, but it's actually really, really good. Like, don't skip on the Gouda. That's all I'm saying. All right, bye.
As Modius's voice leaves your head, there's this other invading presence that's trying to probe your mind for answers. As you are still in this mindset of not being able to think, you actually feel some kind of resistance to it. You don't know where it's coming from. In your current stupor, you're just kind of you feel this invasion, but you feel something that's also pushing back against whatever that probing is.
That's that Satan firewall.
Basically, the Constitution that you rolled is basically what that is right now. So you got a good roll on that one. So as this kind of probing presence enters your mind, there's just this thing that's pushing back, and this goes on for as far as you can tell. Like in your current mindset, it seems like a really long time. You don't know if it's like 5 minutes or 2 hours, but it's just this constant probing. And at some point, your consciousness comes back to you. and you realize that you are in a cell, like in an actual cell. So everyone else is kind of in nice accommodations. You are actually in the cell. You still have the manacles on you. Both your wrists are bound and your ankles are bound, and you've been put into this kind of whitewashed room. You only have the windows of a bar on the door of what you assume is the door of this room, and nothing else. As for Xylus, you get this kind of probing sense in your mind as well, but given that you're kind of in the trance state, you're kind of willingly giving any information over to whatever this thing is that is probing your mind. And the first thing that seems to be getting asked for, and you hear this kind of smooth voice, almost kind of entrancing in the way that it's kind of probing and it's not questions, not audible questions that are coming to you as in like someone's asking you something, but it's almost like a feeling of, I desire this kind of information. And the first thing that it seems like it's going for is, what do you know about the Red Shard? What is it that you are seeking? What power do you know of that this Red Shard has? What thoughts do you give over to it in response?
So I think because Xylith is charmed, I think I'll just start speaking like out loud, because I don't know that this thing is just in my head. So I'll just, like, Xylith will start saying, Radshard is so magical. It's gonna help me. It's gonna help us. It's gonna help me find family, find power. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm so excited to see it. I know it's so powerful and magical. So it's just gonna be like slurring power, magic, that kind of stuff.
As you say those words, it's almost like the invasive thought is kind of like hungering for more description of what kind of power and magic that you envision this thing has. As it kind of probes your mind more and more, it's trying to dig into your subconscious and what you know. And it's almost giving you a euphoric feel, almost as if you're you're in this weird state of dream and awake. And as it probes your mind for what you envision that power is, it's looking for, like, what things do you will to be able to do with this power? What are the things that if you were to obtain this, what would you do with it? What do you imagine you could do with this thing?
I think it will be. Oh my god.
Yes, Ace.
Oh, Ace.
Almost certainly. That is definitely on the cards.
For our streamless
I'm not saying
viewers. Okay, yeah, we'll just leave that.
Not saying that.
Asmodeus is being the little. Being the little troublemaker over here. Anyways.
So, because Xylith doesn't know like what the Rad Shard is or what it looks like, he's only been given information about how powerful this thing is. He's gonna start thinking about, like, you know, having like this almighty power, having you know, the ability to do anything with it. Like, this thing can like grant all wishes or something like that. Like, he's gonna start thinking of those things in his mind. Like, oh, this is, you know, like I could rule the world with this thing.
As you share those thoughts, there's kind of a hunger sense that this thing is getting is like, ooh, what? Like this is something that I feel like I want too. And then kind of as this hunger peers more in, it tries to dig into who you are and where you came from and what backstory led you to this rad shard, and where you kind of had this blissful sense of, oh, this would be cool to get my hands on and discover one day. You suddenly are shook back to that despair of losing your family. And as this intrusive presence digs deeper and deeper, it's pushing you into that kind of critical point in your life that has kind of tripped you into searching for the rad shard. That were you abandoned by your parents? Were your parents killed? Are like, did they not want you anymore? And it keeps digging and digging and digging into that. And at one point, you go from this very kind of blissful feeling into this very fearful feeling. And as it peers deeper and deeper into you, it gets to a point and it focuses on that despair that you feel. And then it suddenly pulls out, and then you are brought to consciousness, no longer charmed, but with this fear now in you. Like, you don't know what just happened, and you come to. And the last thing that you consciously remember is walking through the streets of Elfrost, and now you're in this room. You don't know how you got there.
Creepy.
Jeez.
Geo, a similar kind of presence starts to invade your mind, but since you are consciously aware of it, I need you to roll a wisdom save for me, please.
Secondary wisdom save coming right up. Oh.
Ouch. So while you were able to shake off the effects when you were walking through the streets of Elfrost, this presence manages to come to your mind. And instead of how Xylith heard kind of more of a presence and an influence, you actually hear a voice. And this voice is like, where do you come from, Ergenesai? Your kind is not common. Why are you here?
Well, I pull like, is it just, do I speak in my mind, or is it more like out loud or something?
You get the sense that it's in your mind. You don't know if the entity is around you and can hear you, or if you just think it. So however you choose to respond to it.
All right, I am Nymphis Stormweather, son of Lady Sire Stormweather, and she. Oh, 1 second. I have this, and I pull it out. Not sure
I
if
don't
you
care
can see it or
about
not.
your family. I care about who you are. Why are you so interested in the rad shard?
Patience. I'm pulling it out right now. All right, we're here.
I have no time for this. Tell me what I want to know.
Well, there's some books here that she's trying to promote and everything, so I'm traveling around. But I'm also on my own adventure. I'm searching for, well, my father and everything. And I heard this rat shark can probably help me find it.
You get this other surge of something trying to invade your mind and trying to get you to answer the questions. Need you to roll another. Actually, this time roll a Constitution save.
Constitution.
Constitution.
Okay.
15.
So whatever this thing is that's trying to like press you into like not be your normal self and like being kind of the jovial Nymphis that everyone knows and loves, you resist whatever effect that is trying to get you to just kind of be submissive to it. You do realize this as being an arcane user. How do you respond?
I go, whoa, that's rude. I'm giving you the answers. Please be patient. Look. I have permissions to travel over here and onto your lands and everything. So this is kind of being rude. To the Stormmother family's name. We're
just
traveling...
because you're a Stormmother does not mean you have permission to enter our gates, let alone our sanctum.
We were told by Belto that we'd be fine.
Belto, he doesn't know a thing. And suddenly that presence leaves.
But anyways, we're on our story. I don't know.
You continue talking as if he's still there.
So we've been traveling since these towns and everything like that. They said all the rad shard. I haven't really heard the reasons why they fully want the rad shard, but for my sake, they said it was a lot of power and everything. I'm just gonna go. Hello?
One of the guards comes by and he's like, "Are you talking to somebody?"
Yeah, there was a voice in my head. He
Um,
said he was asking questions. Can I get some tea? You guys got tea?
Sure. He runs, gets some tea, he brings it back. It's a very earthy, wooden kind of taste to it.
Snacks?
He brings you over a tray of some berries and some nuts, and he opens the door and gives it to you.
Before you go, you're so kind. Thank you so much. You've been such a great help. This has been a very weird day. Where are we? I know we're in Elfrost, but exactly what's this area? Are we in trouble?
Well, there's a protocol with newcomers, and especially those who are not expected. We have a diplomatic process for bringing folks in and out of Elfrost, and you all did not come through that process. There's someone higher up who has vouched for you, but we still have to go through.
I get it. Oh, okay. So there was a person that was investigating or asking questions. I guess that must be your boss or something like that. He's kind of rude.
That's not part of our process. That's not sure.
Wait
what
a second.
About.
It's not part of your process?
No.
Letter takes notes. What's your name?
My name is Elfrin. But
Elfrin?
Yeah. Just.
And who is your? Oh, where's your manager? I need to talk. I need to talk to your manager.
Where is your manager?
I would like to talk to your head leader or person in charge. Here is my stamp of approval and my letters.
He takes it and he's like, I will share this with them. He just kind of walks off and puts it in his pocket as you see him walking away.
All right, sips tea and eats a cookie. In the meantime, while he's doing that, I left my familiar out in the middle area before we left. If the last person who was picked up probably was Balto or anything like that, or was it Parthenax? One of the two, or somebody. Who was the last person in the room?
In what room?
When we got pulled away.
When everyone was getting split up, I believe you said I got taken by the person in the robes, and then Parthenax was still there.
Parthenax was the last one to be escorted away.
All right, I probably would have had my familiar follow him. Not important, but just being the last person there, he'd probably followed.
So similarly to how everyone else was taken to certain parts of this kind of guard area where it seems like people have been kind of split up, Parthenax was also led to a similar place, but the folks that escorted him obviously made sure that your familiar was kind of out. They thought it was more kind of like wildlife, but made sure that Parthenax was the only one in that room.
Okay. Seeing that it shooed him away, but seeing where he ended up, I probably would try to have it come back towards me or something a little later.
Yeah.
But can't get into the room apparently because reasons.
Yeah. So Julian,
Yeah.
you also get a kind of another presence entering your mind as well. I need you to make a wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Okay.
Wes?
You also get this kind of thoughts, or kind of this voice in your head, similar to how Nymphis received thoughts. And you hear a voice speaking to you and say, Honorable Wolfkind, it is interesting to find you in these places. There has been many a battle fought with our kin. What brings you to Elfrost? Okay.
Not a word.
What is it that you seek to attain here? Revenge? Power?
Not a
Roll a
word.
Constitution save.
Well,
As these questions keep coming and coming, you find your resolve dissolves,
okay.
and you start to divulge answers to these questions. You still have your wits about you, where you can maybe control some of your responses, but you feel compelled to answer.
Okay. Start shaking, like visibly, like shaking. Is going against exactly what he wants to do. It's like, Cyrus.
Cyrus. Yes, who is this Cyrus? What does he want? Is he after what you seek?
Must find Cyrus.
See. Cyrus. Powerful.
He's getting more and more agitated.
What is it that you are seeking from Cyrus? What is it that you want? Why are you with this group?
Must need to see him. Tell him. No, can't say.
Where is Cyrus?
I don't know.
The voice leaves your head. You feel you come back to your senses. One of the folk come by, heard you shaking and like kind of whimpering, comes by and says, are you all right? What's going on in there?" Starts to open the door and sees you. Like, everything okay? We heard you whimpering in here.
Just stares back, dead silence.
Okay. Do you need anything? Any refreshments? Any? All right. It's okay. You close the door. Belto, after some time, you are met by Ilenia. Actually, comes. So this person who was brought to escort you was also instructed to bring you to Ilenia once you got into this. So Ilenia comes to you and introduces to you. Looks a little bit different than she did last time. So when you met her at the Lanther of Lorinth, when she brought you into Elfrost to be taken up to the council, was a little bit more kind of the earthy green and brown, but she's kind of changed her colors a little bit to be a little bit more vibrant. So instead of the kind of the mossy green color, there's a little bit more vibrance to her demeanor, being an Eldrin and all. And she's
Put
oh,
on
my
her summer
precious
outfit.
more or less, yeah. Oh, my precious Belto, it's so good to see you make it back to Elfrost. I heard the council had sent you away, and it was very peculiar as to why, but I'm glad you have made it back safely. How are your journeys?
The journeys were surprisingly harrowing. Had a few complications on returning to Elfrost. Ran into more dryads just before the borders that charmed a good chunk of the group, and they were really pissed after I resorted to trying to use your name on them. But I
see.
have tried to keep your involvement as secretive as possible, only mentioning your name around the group in that instance and then at the gates to get us in.
Well, I much appreciate that, my dear. Your discernment is well noted, and I'm sure the entities that sent you here thought of that deeply whenever they decided to make you known to me. So, with that said, what is it of your friends that you have brought with you? I wasn't expecting you to come back with an entourage of your own. It seems like an interesting group of personalities that you have acquainted yourself with.
It is just as a surprise that it was for me those few days ago when we began the journey. They were already on their way to Elfrost, and along the way had eventually they had inquired with Hisserin, a dwarven mage out on the roads, who was trying to help the party with understanding themselves, it seemed. As they openly inquired about if they knew anything of the Rad Shards, so the party seems to have some inkling as to what the Rad Shard is through stories of some sort, but I do not know much about the origins. I figured it would probably be best for them to share in more private setup compared to the open road where ears could be anywhere.
I see. And she actually recognizes the name Hisrin and kind of asks you how she is a little bit, and kind of talks a little bit back and forth of just kind of the general banter about catching up with friends. She says, well, on that note, this Rad Shard thing seems to be, the news of it seems to be spreading quite a bit. What do you take of what this old tale of power might be?
Well, I have no idea whether it is real or just a fairy tale used to spur on adventures that's just gaining traction, but considering what I was briefly told about the fear and the power, and the fact I was sent to Hintdale both to check in on a researcher there who was looking into the Rad Shard, as well as just help the defend against the attack. Fortunately, the party dealt with the invading force of Orts. But as for the Rad Shard itself, it is still mostly just a mystery to me.
I see. What of your acquaintances' personalities? What are they like? Are they friendly? Or are they?
He pulls out his prayer
Worthy?
book and flips to the back where he's gotten notes on a few people.
Oh, I see you've taken some notes.
Well, especially after the fates seeming to drop me right in front of more venturing individuals who were on the quest to seek out more information of the Rad Shard here at Elfrost. That was their whole purpose for coming this direction, to my knowledge.
See.
I figured it was best to get a couple notes for sharing with the council if I was to speak alone with them first, given the especially troubling situation at the gates.
A
Our
wise
arrival
decision.
The arrival was chaotic, as the group tends to be.
I see. How have
It's,
you done
nim-
in this in these journey? You've been away for a few days, and it is good to see you safe and sound. But how are you doing? How is your well-being holding up?
Well, as you can see, I no longer have my shield due to an unfortunate situation of events that occurred on the road with some merchants. Ended up losing my shield in payment because I have no coin left to my name, and felt bad about the incident that the party unintentionally caused them. He'll go into some details about just the general chaos of Tess swinging and breaking the card, and the chaos of trying to get the merchant all their stuff back.
Yep.
Um,
Ah, Belto, so generous and so thoughtful.
I do hope to be able to pay for their troubles, as well as hopefully repurchase my shield from them in the future, or at least track it down at some point. But we'll see what happens of it.
I see.
As for detailed things regarding the group, I didn't get too much one-on-one time with too many of them. But from what I had observed just while on the roads, the most boisterous one, Nymphus Stormweather, he's giddy and rather excitable. Enjoys getting to tell stories and seeing the recognition by Hisrin of apparently having adventured with his mother in the past. I hadn't seen anybody that happy in years. But
It's just good to see that she finds enjoyment in her old stories. It's good to see that.
he also
do
seems
you-
to be the
do you-
most good-hearted of the group.
Do you care to stay until you are called to the council?
Very well.
You have places to go. All right.
No, I have
So you-
nowhere to be except for the councils.
So she talks a little bit more with you about the party and about the adventures. And we're going to take a stream break there. So
Yay!
we will be back in a short while. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Okie dokie.
As soon as I can get the BRB screen going. And we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulty, folks. Bobby's video is frozen. Nope. Good. All right.
Testing.
Nope, you're good. All right, cool. So, Bobby, after about 45 minutes or so, you are summoned to the council.
All right.
You depart Eilenia after having a good discussion over the adventure, kind of recounting a little bit more details. Get refreshed with some nice food and drink, and you make your way off following the same kind of scribe or escort that brought you to Eilenia in the first place. It's another probably 10-minute walk into the inner parts of kind of the inner circle of Elfrost. After you get there, you are screened your give over weapons and everything. Obviously, going into the council chamber, they don't want any of that kind of stuff. So you're asked to hand over any weaponry that you have.
If my memory serves, it's just my warhammer at this point.
Yeah, I believe that's right. So you are.
And a crossbow. Yeah.
So as you enter into the chamber, you see the elf that met you earlier and questioning you before coming to the council, Nesere, and then you also see Erken, who you had met previously on your time here to Elfrost. And you also see two other elven folk that are kind of sitting around this kind of big open space. So you see kind of a semicircular table, and the different elves that are part of what you assume is kind of the overall council are sitting kind of like maybe 6 feet apart from each other. And while the room itself is circular, you get this kind of weird sense, again, kind of the Feywild mystical things might not appear kind of as they seem vibe in the room. You are sat down in a at a table that's in front of them on the same level. So it's the semicircular table where they're all looking at you, and you're asked to sit down and present your case. So Erkan, who seems to be kind of the leader of the council, opens up with his remarks of like, "It is good to see you have made your return safely back to us, Belto. We look eagerly to your report for what's happened in Hinkdale, but as we have been informed by Nasre, it seems like you have brought along some guests with you.
Unintentionally, yes.
Yes, it does seem that sometimes fate would have brought an interesting accompaniment to us. As we have been kind of made aware, it seems like this party is interested in searching for some ancient mystical artifact by which seems to be of not too much importance to the council, but we are more curious in the party themselves and of your report from Hinkdale. To get the matters out of the way, let's go ahead and take care of the Hinkdale matter, shall we? So, were you able to make contact with the with our informant down in Hinkdale, or?
Unfortunately, Malon Veleth was one of the 2 casualties of Hinkdale. I did not get to make direct contact. I was pointed in the direction of their home, since I was on official business from you. And I took a look around, and he rummages through his pack and presents all the documents that he found and did collect from Malon's residence. This isn't everything, but it is everything that I could not discern of my own, because I do not understand the Elven tongue or written word myself. But hopefully there are notes regarding what it is you were intending to get a report from them about.
I see. He motions over to one of the other kind of scribes or other folks who kind of aid the council, and they go over and kind of reach out for the documents, and assuming you hand them over.
Off.
Okay. They take them over, and the council says, well, we will look into these at a later time. What of your companions that you have brought in? It seems like a very interesting folk, and the fact that they have come here seeking knowledge from Elfrost when they are not on any kind of diplomatic adventure to our kingdom is very unsettling to us here. But we are looking to you to get more information. Should we be worried of their adventuring here to Elfrost? Do they pose a threat?
He takes a visibly deep sigh, given the flashbacks to the stabbing and the merchant card incidents. This party so far, in my experience, has been rather chaotic and unpredictable. It seems as though there's starting to be a bit of structure amidst the group, but it's hard to tell at this time. And he will pull out his prayer book, go back to through to his notes again, like he did with Eilenia, and read off a few details that he's noted down about the party from what little perspective he has in his observations over the course of the last few days.
Okay.
Good. Yep, no worries. Nympha Stormweather. Rather excitable. Definitely the most good-intentioned of the group. That is above game. That is specifically because of him confronting the party during the merchant card incident and like questioning everyone's morals. And back in, from what I've witnessed of him and his bubbly personality, he's definitely takes inspiration from his mother, from what little I've been able to glean in that regard, as he desires to become an adventurer with his own stories to tell. He seems to be more so in it just for experiencing the world more so than gaining much himself. He wishes to share tales. He even has done some rather generous gestures amidst the group, getting one of our previous members a ring at one point that reminded them of their home that they were previously exiled from. They are now no longer, that other person is no longer with our group, as they have returned to their village, their exile being overlooked due to the dangers, much like what happened at Hinkdale seeming to be happening around their area.
What's your passive perception?
My passive is a 13 for my passive perception.
Okay, carry on.
Yep. Xylith, the dark scale dragonborn of the group, a quieter one. They had a bit of happy moments between a few. They also aided me briefly in stopping some in-party fighting. It was strange to see party members testing their equipment for them attempting to enhance some daggers via a strange concoction. Two of the members, who are both no longer with us, we're testing them
May the
against each
soup
other.
rest in peace.
Pretty much. Yeah,
No.
he's Belto and me as Bobby are having very much difficulty trying to find the right words to convey to a council of higher ups regarding the insanity of this party, but in as positive a light as possible because he feels like there's some
Kill them all.
destined thread shit going
Kill
on.
them all.
From what little I was able to overhear in conversations on the road, they seem to be mostly just a lost soul that is seeming to try to find their way. Julian, the wolf man, he comes off as rather brutish and crass, gives me the impression of a soldier. I haven't had any much of one-on-one discussions with him so far, but he does seem to, in moments of extreme chaos, try to take charge of the group and act a bit as the group's pseudo leader. It appears, but I have yet to determine further. Wilrick, he confuses me. He gives off an impression of aloofness and just seems to be I don't know how else to put it or a better way to flatter it, but a bumbling fool who just seems to have things work out in his way. Strange obsession with cheese that caught me off guard at first, but that is what it is, I guess.
One of the elves there that you haven't met before, it's Lady Elf side. Wilrick is which one?
He is the tiefling one.
Tiefling one. What do you think of him? He's been ordered to be. Tieflings have been given a strict command to never come into Elfrost, so the fact that he is here is quite concerning for the council. What do you make of him?
My apologies for not knowing of that restriction regarding Elfrost's policies, as I barely had a few hours the last time I was here, so I did not get to learn enough. I apologies.
It's not something that you would have known. It's a magic effect that is across Elfrost, and it's been a warning that has been imbued upon Tiefling kind. I'm sure
so
you have
that's
probably.
Why he started screaming.
Yes, that is one of the many defenses that we have against.
Wilwick. Just Wilwick.
There's a narrative reason. Don't go crazy on me. All will be revealed in time if we make it to that point in this campaign.
Though actually, speaking of
Your
his
discernment.
episode where he began screaming because of the effect that you are mentioning, he started shouting in a lot of languages. A couple I didn't understand, but one of which he used was Celestial. As I understand the tongue myself, it did throw me off given what little knowledge I have myself regarding tieflings.
Well, yes, the protections that we have tend to make it appear as one would go insane. We have been told that his presence is not as what this is expected to be, as other members of the council may choose to divulge. But as far as what we have been told, we are to give him a voice, which goes against many of our customs, but we are inclined to give him an audience along with the rest of your companions for reasons I'm still questioning. As you look, there's kind of amongst the rest of the council member, there's definitely an uneasiness from her and Urkan. You kind of get uneasiness for them. From Nasare kind of just seems chill about the whole thing, and then there's another elf that you haven't seen either in your time there. who just kind of seems to be kind of just laid back and just observing more or less of what's going on.
Sorry, taking notes real quick.
So this tiefling fellow seems like he's a very
He has aided the
haphazard
group.
and see.
He has been helpful, and he was involved in collecting the resources during the merchant cart incident along the road. And he'll go over that briefly and in regards to how chaotic the party can be, but because that was like the lowest point for the party in terms of their displayed morals. But he will also like go into some details, not wanting to waste time, but summarizing at least how much what he saw of the party helping and bringing morale back to those in Hinkdale, making decisions on the road regarding helping Helenestra's group as and the dispatching of the purple worm after that attack. He doesn't really hold much of anything back. He is just trying to paint the party in a neutral light at the very least. Just because while he has his own intentions, and from what little he was told in his travels going to Elfrost initially, Belto himself like essentially conveys feelings of hesitancy towards the group, which to put himself on like level-headed ground with the council. But because of learning of the Rad Shard and then being dropped in and having the party having accomplished half of the mission that he was sent to Hinkdale to do, I do believe that, like you said yourself, fate is playing with their strings at the moment, and I feel like this group is involved somehow, given how coincidental my meeting with them was.
I see. She motions over to the rest of the council if they have any questions, and Nasere speaks up and says, "So what do the party know of the Rat Shard? I had shared with the group that they were seeking it, and most of us are familiar with the old wives' tale of the Rat Shard, but what is it that they seek in it?"
I did not pry too much, as I did not want to seem too interested in it myself, as I was told to keep my mission in regards for collecting intel regarding it as secretive as possible. And especially early on, I didn't know if I could trust them, but now I'm starting to feel like there could be something there. In regards to their extent of knowledge, I do not know it myself. They seem to mostly be going off of the tales that you have just mentioned as well. As for their desires and intentions with it, I have no idea.
I see. He looks over to the rest of the council and says, "Well, we should be wary, if not at least cautious, of these visitors to our land, bringing the Rat Shard into question, this old trinket, if it will, if it's something that actually even exists. We should be cautious with our newfound friends that are in our borders." And the council
call us
kind of
friends,
seems
that's
to
nice.
kind of non-agree, and Erkan kind of chimes in and says, "Well, whatever that be, they are expected here, and we shall grant them an audience as we have been charged with. Belto, is there anything else you would like to report on the events in Hinkdale or this party that we should be made aware of before we give them an audience?"
Despite the chaos, this group seems capable. As I mentioned, one of the encounters that we had along the road was a young purple worm, as it was simply identified as. Given how much of a beating that thing seemed to take, it was miraculous that we managed to save the companion that had been contained by it.
Contained.
He's trying to avoid getting Aldros because Regal higher council members. They're formidable, but there's a lack of synergy so far in the group. Everyone has been mostly for themselves, to my knowledge. There's been a little bit of communication seeming to start to strategize. We've had bad luck anytime a duo has gone off and separated from the main group. Hopefully that if I am to travel with them some more, that doesn't happen in the future, because it has put half of the group's scenarios has been two people going and doing their own thing.
Makes note.
I see.
Separate more.
Well,
Chaotic but formidable.
We are. Well, we have some discussion to have based on your report, which we thank you greatly. We must apologize for the abruptness of the greeting and departure that we put you through, but we appreciate your assistance in this matter, and we offer our condolences to Hinkdale and to, I think it was Marlin. Is that what? Malin.
Malin Veleth.
Malin.
Yep.
Malin. We shall. Do you wish to rejoin your companions, or would you like to wait until the council is ready to discuss with them?
I think at least giving them a bit of peace of mind that they're not necessarily in too much trouble, hopefully, but depending on what your decision may be. I wish to converse with them, see if I can learn anything else from them myself, and hopefully give some peace of mind.
Well, then you are welcome to join them. They will escort you back down to your companions, and we will give them more fitting accommodations than what has been given to them thus far. He kind of motions over, and they ask.
I appreciate your respect and generosity in the chaos of our arrival. A trending word, it seems. And he'll walk off.
They give you back your warhammer, and Go ahead, Julian.
Quick reminder for me: who in the party can actually speak Elvish? Just so I know.
Just you. At this point.
Just me. Cool.
Just you at this point. All right. As you Belto make your way back, you're escorted back, and instead of going all the way down to the furthest out inner circle, you're kind of given off course a little bit. The rest of you all are escorted individually. For some of you, it feels like it's been maybe 30 minutes. For some of you, it feels like it's been 4, 5, 6 hours since you have arrived in Elfrost, and either were put in the cell and you were aware of it, or it came to the fact that you were even here. Wilrick, you are given extra guard as you are escorted, but you have your wits about you. You now know you're aware of where you are. And as you all are made your way to this meeting place, you meet Belto, who is sitting down, relaxing, and just kind of patiently waiting in a corner for you. You see it's a decent-sized room, almost like a dining place, and there's some other rooms attached to it. But you notice that there are some guards that are keeping watch outside, so you're not completely restricted, but they're definitely keeping watch over you all while you're in the city. But there are refreshments made available for you. There are some more berries and nuts and cheeses there, along with some refreshments. So,
do I see that same guard that was guarding for me?
That guard would have been the guard that would have escorted you. At least to the
meeting up
end of the inner the outermost wall, and they would have handed over you to another guard as that guard.
As he was leading me, I would probably be like whispering. I was like, "So, did you talk to him? What happened? What's going on?"
Talk to who?
I gave you a letter.
Oh, I did not have a chance to talk to him. No, I was instructed to watch over you, so I had not left my post.
It's true. Well, where are we going now? Are we? Oh, okay. Oh, there's my friend, Belto.
So you wouldn't actually
It's
see
over.
Belto until you got into the next wall, and you would have been escorted by another guard.
Well, I'm talking about like as we get into the area.
You were traded off to another guard from the guard that you're currently talking with. Then that one escorts you to
Okay.
where we're.
Oh, okay. There's two guards. Okay. Well, then rewind. As we get traded to the other guard, I would be like, "All right, now go send that letter. Let me know wherever they're sending me. Thank you. Bye, Elvin. Bye."
Bye now.
And I'll be like, "Where are we going now?" And then to the new guy.
He just says, "Please follow me." And then we all come in one at a time, and you see Belto there.
Belto, what's going on? He runs over.
The council is going to be giving you all an audience.
Gosh, deadpan. Deadpan Belto.
Council? The council is going to give us what? An audience? Okay, hold on. How do I look? Flips hair backwards.
Try to
How
think
do
of the right
you know
words.
the council?
Julia, welcome back.
How do you know the council?
I was sent here by Ilenia previously, and I was having a conversation with them, and they're the ones who sent me to Hinkdale.
I'm brushing Julian to make sure his fur looks good. That'll look good for them.
Council. It all.
As Julian and Zyla come in, they both look a little bit shaken.
Are you two all right? Did they?
I'm going to be having words with the council, I believe.
Just gonna shake my head and look at the floor.
Zyla, you okay?
Don't want to talk about it right now.
Okay.
Very well.
Well, if you want to talk about it later, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Panda comes in, and he's
Awesome.
escorted by armed guard.
Is he still screaming?
No, he is not screaming at this
No.
point.
So we're in a room with like drinks and that,
Uh-huh.
aren't we?
And cheese.
So
And there's
so
cheese.
as I walk in, it's like my mouth's covered in drool, my eyes are bloodshot because I've been screaming, and I'm there like, oh, need a drink, and I run, chug water, and I'm like, oh hey.
He seems relatively unharmed after his screaming fit. Are you all right, Wilrich?
Can I insight check Panda?
For what?
Because he sounded one way and then went to, oh, hey. I'm like,
Sure, I guess. Were you trying to like indicate something, Panda, with real?
I'm trying to see, I'm trying to clock if it's a facade that he's doing.
Mm.
Like,
You're a
because
facade.
he literally just changed his voice from I need water right now, and then oh hey, and I'm like,
Oh, hey.
It was more of the type of
So the
I'm like
eyebrow-
very
You ever had a
parched and-
dry, parched throat and then been much better mood once you had a drink?
yeah, I get that, but
Actually, the opposite. Like, if you drink too much after being really, really thirsty, it's bad.
So with that insight, you basically get.
Whatever you say, Locon.
So Panda, I'm guessing like you're parched and then.
I was very parched, and that was just from my screaming fit, essentially.
well, I get that he was parched, but I'm saying like, was it an act?
He just told you it
To
wasn't.
sound one. Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Plus, it's very hard to do the Aaron Wilson impression. forward.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey. Was it
Oh,
was
hey.
shit on me.
Yeah, Bobby, do you share anything with the group of what happened, or
A little bit,
Details.
yes. Try not to be too
what
stressed
pieces
about
do you
this.
share? Yeah, what pieces do
Uh,
you share? You don't need to
the
like
count-
recount everything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just-
Basically, the council really just is furious about you all, especially given the strange nature. Yes, there is the expectation of your arrival, but even like I wasn't fully understanding it. I was just told that by, I think Erkin mentioned it in my initial meeting. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Given the hey, the party is expected as a whole, which was just mentioned in that meeting. But anyways, especially since this half of the group has shown up, like he will convey, you've been rather positive or at least neutral towards me, so that is how I portrayed you to the council. As for what will any of the rest of the companions be slated to arrive with us? He'll ask one of the guards.
Just a sec. I'm
Yep, sorry.
looking up the thing. Nope, you're good. So the council wouldn't have told you about the group.
Oh, that was Eilenia?
No, that was the other set.
Oh.
Yeah,
Right. That.
Yeah.
Got it.
that far back. Yep.
Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah.
I had to go check my notes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the other.
Yep. Nope. I know.
Okay. All right.
I
Cool.
know now. But yeah. Let's
Um,
just say fate has an interesting way of making things unfold.
You ask the question to the guards. They are non-responsive.
He will quietly say, "That is of some concern. I didn't exactly have the best light for Parthonats, given the merchant cart incident, and in Nymphus, if you happen to bring into question the group's morality during the merchant cart incident, I have mostly conveyed most of what I have witnessed of you all to them to give them a respectable insight on you, but you have your own stories to tell. You have your own perspectives. I do not know your intentions, your goals. That is for you to tell to them, should they ask."
I turn to the group and I'd be like, well, I kind of did have I did kind of question you guys' morals, and I didn't get some good responses back. But it's okay. I can turn the cheek for a little bit. I just want to know, what is our goal fully? I'll look at Xylith and Julian and Panda. What are we aiming to do? I would like to write about you guys to be like as heroes in stories, in my stories, but
You should get
I
one
really
thing.
don't know.
Good
Should
thing we
get
worked
one
on a few
thing.
backstories, didn't we, people?
You should work. You should write one thing about me. I am not a hero. So put that in your story.
Well, you say that, but I do remember you saving or helping out in that village. That's only things good people do.
There's a big difference between doing good things and being a hero.
Well, a hero starts out by doing good things.
When we speaking to the council,
Okay.
They're ready for us. They're going over what information I provided to them, as well as whatever else they have to discuss. I do not know them all that well.
whilst everyone's talking, I come over right after drinking my dues after screaming. I'm like, "Oh hey, so how was your cell? I was in jail." It didn't give me. It was bad. It didn't even
I'm
give
sorry
me
to hear
cheese.
that, Ulrich.
I had cookies and tea and everything. A nice guard was talking to me most of the time. I did get invaded in my mind. Did anybody else get pushed to say stuff, or it was really rude?
I don't even remember coming into this place.
I pat him on the back.
Concerning.
There's just one tear going across my face right now.
Julian hears that but doesn't respond.
I had no such thing happen to me.
I just kind of look at Nymphus.
I go over to Bobby. I'm like, there's a lot of gods going around me.
They have a predisposition towards your kind, given something in their history, as I have just learned mere minutes ago.
Racist bastard.
Yes, somebody said it.
They kept on asking about the rad shard. They're like, they really, really wanted to know what we wanted to do with the rad shard or how we knew about
And
it.
what did you tell them?
And
That I did not know much about.
I don't know
your own.
much. I just want to know. I can only tell them from what I wanted to do.
Sorry.
And what do you want to do?
Oh, someone now a little interested in my story. Well, I kind of want to use this power to find my father, my true father, and that's all I'm going to really say for now. But there's a couple of things that are missing, and I'm trying to fix that.
Oh.
And the way they were actually prodding, the guard said that it's not supposed to happen. So I think we're being mistreated before, proper customs, I guess.
Bless you. I open
Thanks.
my mouth whilst everyone's talking. Like, well, you lot got interviewed. Oh, I can't be bothered doing voice. You lot got interviewed. I just woke up in the cell and now I'm here. And there's just a lot of drool on my chin.
Maybe you.
I will help clean off the drool and everything since I'm cleaning up everyone and make them look presentable. So I'm like fixing up your shirt and wiping things down. Like, we're going in front of the council. You have to all look good, guys.
Who all is partaking in eating of snacks or drinking drinks? Assuming everyone or
Not me.
No, I had snacks in the cellar. I'm
So you're
good.
saying there is cheese on this table.
yes, there is.
So I go over to the cheese. I see the cheese. I start picking up, and then obviously I'm like, this is nice, but my face is just visually disgusted at what I'm doing.
So
Right.
as you're eating this cheese, it's some of the best cheese you've ever had. You don't know what's in it, but it's smooth
Told
and
you.
earthy.
Mm.
Something in you's like, I shouldn't like this, but I really like this for some reason. And it's like some of the best cheese you've ever had.
I
And
pick
everything's
up,
everyone who's eating is like, everything's refreshing. So if anyone's eating anything, it's like, yeah, like this is refreshing stuff.
Is anyone else eating the cheese or no?
No one's gonna eat the cheese. No.
Well, I'll just pick up the platter of cheese, go up to them, run over to them, and be like, cheese.
The guards look back at you.
Please
It's like,
don't wonder.
yes, cheese. And they
I go
they
over to
back
the
their
guards and
post.
offer them the cheese. Cheese?
No, it's
Well,
like,
it would be best to not pester them. They're just trying to do their job.
And then I just eat my cheese. No one else is having it. I'm gonna have it.
about an hour passes and a messenger comes to y'all and says, The council is still deliberating, but they look forward to meeting you all in the morning. We have made accommodations for you. If you go, they give kind of directions on where to go.
Yep.
The guards will escort you to your sleeping arrangements for the night. Can I make you all any more comfortable tonight?
Julian is very annoyed that they're not going to be seen today. Strides over to the table and just
I just fixed you guys up.
takes a bit of food and basically just stuffs it in his mouth as he walks out.
We have a time frame. We can clean up again in the morning, more properly.
Does anybody else feel the energy in this place, like, fulfill you or something? Like, it's a lot of magic in the air, and I feel like I get like it's soaking into me a little bit. Does that make sense?
A little
In a-
bit,
I
yes.
could do more.
In a
Given
good
what we
way
saw on our way in.
or in a bad way?
I'd be like, I think it's like, and I turn around and I look down the hallway, or actually no, I'll walk away. I'll walk a good distance away, and then I'll turn back towards the group who's all still there, and I'll be like I feel slightly different, and then I misty step right back to you guys real quick, like ghost particle cloud pop back in front of you guys. Huh? I found. Oh, okay. So this is anti-magic area. Never mind. Take that back.
I mean, there's a
wanted to
magical
show off.
area, but given that you're newcomers, you're probably assume that
Okay.
there's some they put some kind of magical effect around you as a group.
Oh, as a group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Features
Cool.
and
Never mind. Take that
protections.
back. My bad. I was just role playing.
Well, I'll just say I don't really feel that easy in this place, but that's just because of what's going on. And then I'll just make my way to where I'm staying.
Okay. I'll follow everyone else to the rooms then.
All right, so you all make your way to the rooms that have been made available to you. There's a room for each person to stay at their own, to sleep at their own bed. There is there's showers and restrooms and facilities and other things that you might need to take care of yourself before
You're gonna be clean.
going to sleep tonight. Anything else you want to do before you all clock in for the evening?
No, that makes sense.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay. Well, as you all drift off to sleep, we will call it there for this session.
Yeah. I wanted
Surprise!
to,
Roll initiative.
I
Spiders
want-
come out and kill you all.
I wanted to speak to the council, those little bastards.
Next time. I needed
Next
this
time on
session so
council.
I
I
could
wanna
collect
speak
the
to the council,
information that
too.
I need for the council meeting. So.
Next time on Council Talk.
But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this
I was
session.
gonna have the best intimidation roll on the council. It was a 4.
Plus 8. My gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yep, plus 8 to that?
Jeez.
Remember, we just had this whole conversation last week about him getting the skill master or whatever, and making him,
Oh, right.
I think,
Yeah, that's
proficient
proficient.
at it, and
Right.
he has expertise on
I do.
intimidation.
Right. That's right.
So yes, even when he rolls bad, he can roll good.
Well, half decent. 12 isn't great, but it's something. But yeah.
The important part will
even-
be for
even
Dust
your
to
two-
prompt you to use the intimidation if it's allowed. That's the thing
Hell
you gotta
no.
recognize. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm
No,
going
just-
to intimidate."
God, it's used all the time.
You can
Well, the thing
attempt,
is-
but then Dust determines whether you even
You can
roll or not.
attempt.
Yeah. It determines whether it's actually useful or not.
if it's applicable.
Just intimidate everybody. Intimidate
Yeah.
the council. If you need backup, let me know.
All right, so we're about to lose
Yeah.
another party member.
Yes.
Or gain another one.
Well, it's about time. Jake Paul lost. That's exactly what happened. He got smited.
No, don't do that.
All right. Well, we finally got around to doing another session.
Woo! When's the next one?
Yay.
Yes.
Not next weekend. I will put
okay.
out a poll for people's availability. The next weekend's off the table for me. So I'll put a poll out as far as people can specify when they want to do it. As for the stream, thank you all for watching. If those are watching via the VOD, welcome back. This will be fun. We've got a lot of exciting things to actually pick up with the pieces with, and now since it's a smaller group, I feel like we actually have some momentum with this
indeed.
group. It won't be nearly as many sidetracks, and I think we'll actually be able to get to where we want to go faster this time around. Everyone's at level 4 now. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of everything, but everyone has leveled up since we
Level up.
got to Elfrost. So this should be exciting for our next adventure. Next one should be the council meeting, and then we should be on our next merry journey next time. So thank you all for watching. Catch you all on the next session.